There's financial gurus out there who say the only way out of debt is by cutting up your credit cards, foregoing your daily cup of coffee or your avocado toast, or even putting your credit card in a freezer. Basically, what they're saying is live below your means. And I'm really opinionated on this. There's a lot of reasons the rich dad philosophy doesn't subscribe to the live below your means mythology. But essentially, I don't think that advice solves the problem for anyone who wants to be wealthy. If a person wants to become wealthy, they need to learn how to respect the power of debt, know how to get into the right kind of debt, and learn how to harness the power of debt. Clearly, if you're putting your credit card in a freezer, there's a bigger problem that you need to address there. Because this all takes self control, the ability to delay your gratification. And this is just the beginning to changing how you think about money. Instead of saying, I can't afford it, start saying, how can I afford it? I'm your host, Alexandra Gonzalez-Ganoza, and this is where your financial freedom begins. So, on this new exciting twist that we're doing on this show of dissecting the advice of a lot of other financial gurus you guys have heard about, I came across this interview with the personal finance expert, Suze Orman. The video is titled Suze Orman's Strategy for Financial Freedom and Creating the Life You Want. And I want to talk about this title in a minute, but first, let's see what she has to say.
Thing that certainly my peers tend to excuse away is to say, you know what? Don't worry about if you can't afford that vacation. You should just take it because then you're going to have those memories forever.
Well, that's just stupid.
It's all about the experience.
People think it's fine.
Right. But it's because here's the thing. I want you to remember, I was a waitress till I was 30 years of age, making $400 a month at 30, right? Here I am at 68. I live on a private island in the Bahamas. Right? I live a lifestyle that is beyond the beyond. And I'm having the time of my life. And the reason that I'm able to have the time of my life now is that all the way up, I didn't take a vacation. I worked 10 years and I did not take a vacation for 10 years and did not spend more than one day in one place. And I worked 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. But look at my life now.
Okay, so Suze Orman said, I'm 68, having the time of my life now. And all the way up until this point, I didn't take a vacation for 10 years, working 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. But look at my life now. I mean, that's one way to look at it. But what I was envisioning while she was saying all that is that she lived a not so exciting life to just work for money for 68 years on this planet. 68 years of her beautiful life that we only get to live once, working 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. To me, that's not my definition of enjoying life. She says it with a lot of pride too, which I mean, I admire. I admire a good work ethic. I admire ambitious people. And clearly, she must have been very passionate for what she was doing. And if you're that kind of person, or, you're a workaholic, not in a bad sense, or, I mean, I guess, it is in a little bit in a bad sense because you need balance in everything in life, work versus play. But if that makes you happy, go for it. But for me, and for our audience, for the people following us, I don't think we believe in that. I work to live. I don't live to work. I'm 27. I like to take vacations with my parents and enjoy them while I still have them. In a couple weeks, I'm going to Peru and I'm going to be there for a couple of weeks. And I want to enjoy those moments life gives me with my family, with my loved ones, the moments that make me and my heart happy. Eat our amazing food, which, by the way, in Peru, we have the best food ever. And I don't know about you guys, but having those work days with no vacation, like Suze Orman, for the next, 40 years of my life does not seem like the life I want to design or the life I want to live. And honestly, all my mentors, the Kiyosakis, my dad, my mom, my friends, that all range from in age from like early 30s to their late 70s. They all have one thing in common. They all still continue to invest, educate themselves in the economy, have their businesses and still work in them, but in a passive way. And they're still enjoying their life, going on vacations, and managing things from afar. I'm not saying that you're going to go below 5,000 on a vacation that you can't afford. What I'm saying is, what if there was a way to shift your focus to making your money work for you so that your cash flowing assets work for you and not the other way around? So your assets pay for your liabilities, they pay for your vacations, and you get to enjoy your success and the beautiful moments life gives you while you're building your empire. There's a big difference between the good debt and the bad debt that is drowning most of America's middle and lower class. Good debt makes money for you. It's the debt you use to invest in assets that pay for themselves. And bad debt takes money out of your pocket and is spent on things like clothes, electronics, the new iPhone, a mortgage, a car. The problem isn't the debt, it's the person who owns it. It's you, it's the financial literacy to know the difference between good debt and bad debt. At Rich Dad, we say you shouldn't live below your means. Rather, we say you should expand your means by purchasing assets so that eventually the income from your assets pay for things like clothes, the iPhone, the mortgage, or your car. But I know sometimes you're dug so deep financially that expanding your means to match your debt level isn't possible. And if you're in that unfortunate situation, a debt reduction program is necessary for you, which means until you're debt free, you have to live within your means. Another important lesson here is that when you make a statement like, I can't afford it, your mind automatically shuts down. You start to operate with a poor mentality, a poor mindset, with a mindset of scarcity. And so your habits start to reflect those thoughts, and those thoughts become your reality. And you start to put yourself in a box and deny yourself of things you want because you can't afford it. You demean yourself, your self-esteem starts to go down because unconsciously you're telling yourself you're not capable of making more money. Again, this isn't an excuse to just go buy unnecessary things. Instead, it all starts with asking, how can you afford it? And then you start to have a mindset of abundance. Your habits start to change, and so does your reality. So you start thinking this way and you start acting this way. And then you start to look for actual ways to increase your income. You start educating yourself because you see it's actually possible. And then with your added income, your new stream of passive income, you start looking at things you want to buy as motivation to accomplish your financial goals. That's why vision boards even exist, and they actually work. It's motivation to keep your daily habits that will help you accomplish your long-term goals. To live life every day instead of waiting until you're 68 to take a vacation. Don't let your current finances defeat you. Look at your finances as a game that you can find a way to win. Start thinking like Rich Dad so you can then find habits to act like the rich and then implement them and then be rich in every sense. And if you're wondering, okay, you've nailed the thought process of the rich and you've studied the cash flow pattern that they all have and follow, and you've even found opportunities to invest in. But what now, right? Well, of course, there's things like side hustles so you can earn income to invest, but also what a lot of wealthy people do that it's not for everyone, it's only for people with high financial intelligence is OPM, other people's money. There's countless people who have money but don't know what to invest in. And so you can raise capital from them, from your friends, from your family members, or any eligible investor. And you know, I know a lot of peers that do this in a very successful way. They're successful investors, but they all have one thing in common. They have true financial education and knowledge in what they're investing in, because it's a lot harder than using your own hard-earned money. You need to know the business model. You need to know how much it's cash flowing. Of course, you need to do that with your own investment money, but you have a higher sense of responsibility when it comes to other people's money. And there's also different avenues you can take, like investing from your side hustle, like I mentioned earlier, or like going to a traditional bank and taking out a loan. But I also know some people might get turned down from a loan because of their history, their debt to income ratio, their credit history, or whatever the case may be. But don't let this stop you. I've met so many successful investors and very young ones too who use OPM to invest. Because honestly, banks typically don't really loan money for these types of properties or businesses that a lot of investors pursue. If you're looking for ways to get creative and use other people's money, OPM, to invest so you can accelerate your path to financial freedom, I'll leave a link for you guys to a blog that gives you 6 places to find money to start your investing journey, other than from a traditional bank. The bottom line here is that what I want you guys to take away from the show is there's always money. For beginners, investing money takes time. Identifying how to find money in a way that works best for your unique situation takes time, and it takes a lot of research too. But the main takeaway is this: remove the words "I can't afford it" from your vocabulary. There's always money, and it doesn't need to come from your own pocket. As the saying goes, where there's a will, there's a way. I believe in dedication, not limitations. Get creative, outwork your self doubt, outwork your mental barriers, and figure out a way to take a vacation before you turn 68. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction video. You know, we're dissecting that advice from Dave Ramsey, Suze Orman. Send us any other financial gurus that you want us to evaluate, and we'll tell you what Rich Dad would do. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
This podcast is a presentation of Rich Dad Media Network.